Hi there, good evening. Welcome to this week's edition of CopaLoadofRacing. We'll be looking ahead to the Scottish Grand National, of course, which is tomorrow at Ayr, and I'll give you a couple of tips for another couple of races at the meeting at the Ayrshire track as well. We'll also give you a tip for Newbury, one horse that's caught my eye there, and one at Thirsk as the flat racing on the turf really gets underway over the next couple of weeks. We've just had the Craven meeting at Newmarket this week, but jumps action still very much prominent in the next two Saturdays with Ayr and then Sandown next week. Perth's 3-day festival gets underway on Wednesday. That's their first meeting of the year. And it's a big meeting. A lot of the trainers from down south, Gordon Elliott typically sends over a few horses as well for that meeting, and it's a big, I would say it's a big piss up for a lot of the connections, to be honest, at Perth, but it's a great event and you should get there if you can over the 3 days. Punchestown also gets underway this week on Tuesday and runs right through to Saturday, and of course sadly we heard the news today that Ruby Walsh will not be riding at the festival this week, which is a big disappointment for Ruby, of course, for Willie Mullins and everybody connected with the sport, because he is box office basically, Ruby. So great disappointment there. The Ayers 2-day Scottish Grand National meeting got underway today. Nice weather, thankfully, for it to get to start off proceedings, and it looks set fair again tomorrow for what looks a cracking wee card at Ayr, as we'll get into that in a minute. But first of all, let's go back to last week, and of course it was the Grand National at Aintree, and if you've been following the vlog then you would have hopefully got on Tiger Roll right from my first edition of this vlog. Way back at the end of January or beginning of February, I think it was, I put up as an anti-prospect Tiger Roll for the Grand National, and it was at 50 to 1. You could have got it bigger in some with some bookmakers. I got a price boost on it, so if you got on it, thumbs up, well done. So that for the vlog, big thing for the first year of the vlog, to get anti-post the Grand National, probably one of the hardest handicaps to back a winner all year, and we got it. So I hope you were on it. If you were, well, bad luck. Tiger Roll looks a classy sort, probably for me the classiest winner of the Grand National for quite a while. He's 3-time winner at the Cheltenham Festival. Let's see what he goes on to do. I think he's going to stick to cross-country racing with Gordon Elliott. So let's look at tomorrow, and let's look at the Scottish Grand National meeting. We'll start off with that race, in fact, why not? It kicks off at 4:05, live on ITV or STV, and I've picked 3 horses out, and I couldn't not go with that Gordon Elliott Davy Russell connection, which was so successful last week. This week they have Fagan going to post in the Scottish Grand National. Gordon Elliott's not somebody that typically sends a horse to Ayr for the Scottish Grand National. He has done in the past, but this horse has obviously caught the eye. People are very well aware that he was so successful with Tiger Roll last week, but also Bless the Wings was third, of course, in the National. So he's on a good run at the moment. Now this horse Fagan, there has to be a question mark first and foremost at the fact that he's taken a marked step up and trip here. But you look at the connections, they must have a great belief that this horse can see out 4 miles. And with Davy Russell on board, is he going to put the horse to sleep at the back? We'll wait and see. And if he does do one of those gem of a rides that Davy Russell can always produce, then Fagan may just be in the frame come the last couple of fences, and if he is, then you just wouldn't put it past Davy Russell getting this horse up to the line in front. So I'm going to put a bit of money on Fagan. I think he is a classy sort. and he has the potential to see out the trip. But there's still a question mark there. The other 2 horses that I'm going to pick out, I don't think there's a question mark about their stamina. It's just about, can they recoup the form of previous years, I suppose you could say. Optic is another horse that really is going to be one that I think will be well backed over the next couple of weeks, over the next 24 hours, should I say. He is a horse that won at Weatherby and has has real stamina in the bag, I think. But I'm going to back against Optic. I've done that before and it's cost me, but I'm going to do it again. The other 2 horses I'll pick out, one is the young master Neil Mulholland. Sam Wheely-Cohen on board this horse. He ran pretty well at Cheltenham, and I think he's just starting to show that little bit of glimpse of form that seen him. I remember a few years ago, I think he won the Badger Eels at Wincanton. And he's just starting to grab that little bit of form that I think could bring him into the frame in this race. So the young master, Sam Wheely-Cohen's a really good jockey. He's an amateur, but he's certainly a jockey that knows his way around the likes of these big stamina testing handicaps such as the Scottish Grand National, and I think he's in with a chance. The other one is Coggrey, for the Nigel Twiston-Davis, another horse that I just think is creeping back into form, and he's at a big price. He's disappointed at times this season, but as I say, this just might be his time of year, and I think Coggrey could run well at a big price as well. So Fagan, the young master, and Coggrey for me for the Scottish Grand National. Okay. Pick out 2 other horses on the day. In the first race, the 145, Brian Ellison's Forest Behan. I think he won a bumper for jumpers race at Newcastle recently, so he seems to be creeping back into form, and he seems well prepped for this race, and he'll enjoy what seems to be decent enough ground now at Ayr. So Forest Behan in the first in the 145, and in the Scottish Champion hurdle at 255, Nicky Henderson's been in great form, of course, of late, and this horse, Clayman Taken Forgan, I think it's a classy sort. Novice this year, of course, finished 5th in the Supreme, and that's decent form coming into this. Chesterfield's probably going to be well backed, I would think, but I think this horse has got a good chance, Clayman Taken Forgan, for the Henderson team. As I say, I think it's a classy enough sort, won a couple of bumpers, looked a decent enough novice, was beaten at Musselburgh, I think, back on Cheltenham Trials Day, but I think he'll enjoy the better ground that he'll get tomorrow, and I think he's an each way punt in the Scottish Champion hurdle. Right, the other 2 that I'll throw up to you, looking at in the 345 at Newbury in the Spring Cup, Tony Curtis. Richard Hannon's had a good start to the year. He seems to be getting winners here, there and everywhere, some of them big price winners as well. So I think this horse, Tony Curtis, could run well. Ryan Moore's booked on board. He's a former listed winner, so his recent form isn't, I wouldn't say great, but I think there's improvement there to come back, and I think with the form of the Hannon team, Tony Curtis with Ryan Moore on board can certainly run well in the Spring Cup in the 345. I think in the Greenham, I know there's the well-backed favourite, but I think James Garfield, I still think that horse, I backed it a few times last year as a 2-year-old, and I still think that horse has got a little bit of class about it and could push the favourite right to the line. Not saying he's going to win, but I think he'll certainly be up there in the placings. Moving over to Thirsk, they've got a conditions race, a sprint race over in the 305. Kimberella's a horse who's been brought up quite a few times in the old vlog. particularly over the winter when he was running on the old weather. He's won at Lingfield during that time. And although he's given weight to most of his opponents in this race, I think he's got a hell of a chance. And again, another trainer in bang on form is Richard Fahey. He's had a few winners at Newmarket, had a winner at Ripon I think yesterday as well. So he seems to be starting the season on the turf in flying form. So Kimberella in the 305 there. So just to recap for the old vlog, in the Scottish Grand National at 405 I've got Fagan, the young master at Calgary, in the 145 Forrest Behan, and in the 255 the Scottish champion hurdle I'll go for the old claiming taken Forgan. Well, not the old claiming taken Forgan, he's still a bit of a novice, I would say. And in that 345 the Spring Cup at Newbury we'll take a punt on Tony Curtis, and in the 305 at Thirsk, Kimberella. Okay, so if you're off to Ayr tomorrow, have a good one. The weather looks to be pretty good compared to what we've had to put up with of late. So have a good time, enjoy yourself, and hope you back a few winners. If not going to Ayr, if you're going to Perth this week, then it's going to be getting a bit cooler. It's not going to be great spring weather, it seems, this week for Perth, but I don't think the locals will mind. They know how to enjoy themselves up at Perth, and they certainly will. And if you're going along there, it's a great day out. Have a good one there. I'll be back again, same time, same place next week. We look at the big finale of the jump season at Sandown. Also, Punchestown will have one more day of it on the Saturday. We'll look at what they have got for offer. And then after that, can you believe it? 2 weeks' time we'll be previewing the 2,000 guineas and the 1,000 guineas at Newmarket. That's all to come in the next couple of weeks on the vlog. If you're off racing this weekend, have a good one. Best of luck with your bets. CopaLoadofRacing.